As promised, we are bringing to you today the Tampa Bay Lightning, this massive trade for Oliver Bjorkstrand, as well as Yanni Gourde from the Seattle Kraken. We're going to be breaking down that trade completely, but welcome to Undrafted Hockey Fan. I am Brad. So let's break down this today. Make sure you hit like and subscribe if you're on YouTube. If you're listening to the podcast side of it, give that baby a rating, man. I really appreciate it. It'll help out a small creator like me. And let's just jump right into this thing. So, anyways, and again, if you want to check out the video side, check it out on YouTube. Anyways, let's jump right into this, okay? Let's start with the small parts. So we'll do a full breakdown real quick of what this trade entails. So again, we have the Tampa Bay Lightning getting Yanni Gourde and Oliver Bjorkstrand for a hefty price. They're getting Oliver Bjorkstrand full price. They're getting Yanni Gourde at 50% retained, 50% retained by Seattle, 25% retained by Detroit, a 2026 fifth round pick and prospect Kyle Aucoin. The Red Wings act as a third party broker, getting the higher fourth round pick of the 2025 fourth round pick of the Tampa Bay Lightning or the Edmonton Oilers. And Seattle Kraken take back Mikey Eyssimont, as well as they get a 2025 second round draft pick, which is originally Toronto's, a 2026 first round pick of Tampa Bay Lightning, and a 2027 first round pick. Both are top 10 protected. So that is a massive deal. And so we're actually talking about as well. So the conditions on the first round draft picks real quick. If either wind up as a top 10 selection, they slide to 2028. So if both picks end up in the 2020 or wind up in the top 10, they would slide to 2028 and 2029. So basically, if any of them are top 10, it just one moves the next year. If they both are top 10, then they both move to 28 and 29, which is crazy. The 2029 first round pick could be in the play for here, and it's 2025. And again, we haven't even had the 2025 first round yet. So it's 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. We could be 5 years in this trade could be 5 years in the making, which would be great, or 5 years to be fully made. And also the Kraken would gain an additional third round pick from Tampa Bay Lightning for the year that each first rounder slides to. So if let's say the 2020 currently the 2026 the 2026 first round pick slides to 2028, right? Because sorry, if it slides, then you get an additional third round pick, and then if it happens again where it's top 10 again, they get an additional third round pick. So there's the opportunity to get the Kraken to get 2 first round picks, a second round, and 2 third round picks out of this. That's crazy. That's a huge trade. I love what Julian Breezewell is doing, but this is a completely all in team, and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Honestly, I didn't think they have the balls. I'm honestly very impressed. So let's go and let's break down this trade real quick, and let's go with the Yanni Gourde side. So first off, we have Yanni Gourde going to the Tampa Bay or to the Detroit Red Wings, and we have the Seattle Kraken retaining half of his cap hit right now, which is $5.1 million. So the Red Wings retain about $2.5 million of his cap hit. And so basically, they're taking on $2.5 million of cap hit. So that's the original trade. So it's Yanni Gourde for Kyle Aucoin, or Kyle Aucoin for Yanni Gourde at 50% retained. That is the trade right there. Yanni Gourde, by the way, 17 points in 36 games. This guy's a great third line center. He's actually, by the way, crazy enough, he's already won 2 Stanley Cups with the Tampa Bay Lightning already. Went and got his bag, and now he is coming back, baby, and I love that for him. So moving on to the next part of this trade, we have the Tampa Bay Lightning picking up Yanni Gourde from the Red Wings. So mind you, now the Red Wings are retaining half of the salary that was given from the other half of from the Seattle Kraken. So basically, they're doing 25% of his salary. So the Red Wings are retaining about $1.3 million, a little like 1.29, for a fourth round pick. They're just doing a salary retention. The Red Wings do have a little bit of salary of cap space available, but they're not going to spend all of it. They have currently $12 million in cap space. Yeah, they have plenty. They have plenty to work with, so they're not hurting for cap space. So it's just a way to weaponize the cap space, and they have all 3 retention spots available, so they can do this again, like 2 more times if they wanted to. So they get Yanni Gourde, and again that's a great little pickup for the Red Wings. Now the final action of what ended up happening. These 3-team trades are really 3 different trades, right? between the teams, right? It's like I shake your hand, you shake my hand, or you and I shake hands. It's interesting. So, anyways, I don't want to explain it because that doesn't make sense. I'm gonna totally screw this up. So, what ends up happening? So, the person who wins this trade, I have a Seattle Kraken's hat. I have Red Wings hats, but I don't have a Tampa Bay Lightning hat. I'm wearing my Seattle Kraken's hat. I think this is a huge win for the Seattle Kraken. Absolutely massive win. So, Tampa Bay Lightning get Oliver Bjorkstrand not only for this year, they also get for next year. They're taking on his full $5.4 million cap hit. They're getting him again this year and next year. He's got 37 points in 61 games, a little bit down from what he's been doing, but from last year. But overall, a very good player. And he's 29 years old. So again, they get him for this year and next year, which is huge. They also pick up prospect Kyle Aucoin, who was a 6th round pick from the Red Wings in 2020. Probably a guy they weren't going to sign. He was a guy that went to Harvard for the last 4 years. He's only got 4 points in 24 games. And so, the value you're seeing of a guy like him, he's a D. He's a left shot D. So maybe he works out. It may just be a contract move for the Red Wings because now they have to take on, Yanni Gourde's contract. So it was just a small move in that case. And then they also pick up a 5th round pick from the Seattle Kraken in 2026. So then going back to what do the Seattle Kraken get out of this? They get Mikey Easemont. Again, this is a guy that they had. So to take on these two players, Tampa Bay Lightning actually ended up having to waive Logan Brown. So they put him on waivers. He clears. And so then they also had to trade Michael Easemont so they could take on, add these two other, Oliver Bjorkstrand and Yanni Gourde to their roster. So we went out Mikey Easemont, 28 years old. He played 57 games with the Tampa Bay Lightning, 10 points in those games, 5 goals, 5 assists. Only making $800K, so it's not like a huge hit there. They also pick up a 2nd round pick from the Tampa Bay Lightning, who Utah originally had that. And then a 1st round pick. It's top 10 protected. Again, if the top 10 protected is hit, that one slides to a 2028 1st round pick and a 3rd round pick. And again, the 2027 1st round pick. That one's also top 10 protected. And then again, basically it slides as well. And then they get a 1st round pick with that as well. So this is huge. This is a huge trade, and this is not uncommon, right? We saw there's multiple times where Tampa Bay, Julian Breezewell has done these massive swings. We saw there's two instances with them, with the Hagel trade, as well as the Tanner Jeannot trade. Basically, Tanner Jeannot they traded a prospect, Kerfoot, and a 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th round pick, basically a whole draft class for Tanner Jeannot. That one did not end up working. They ended up trading him to LA Kings for like a 2nd and a 4th round pick. And then the Brandon Hagel trade, which is a little bit different. But they ended up trading 2 1st round picks to the Chicago Blackhawks because they were taking him on that year and the year after as well. I believe it was a little bit of retention as well. So, I mean, and I think it was Taylor Rash was going back in the trade and one other piece. But overall, like, it was a big swing. A lot of these but think about this, like, Tampa Bay has made these big swings and they end up really working. We saw that happen with Yanni, not Yanni Gourde, Barclay Goodrow from the San Jose Sharks. It was traded for a 1st round pick. Everyone's like, that's a huge price. Well, they won the cup, dude. Like, it absolutely works, right? So there's instances where they make these massive trades. And if it works out, it works out, right? But you got to take these big swings. And I love this for them, because especially for how stacked this is. By the way, we already saw like a 1st round pick moved. We saw a 1st round pick and a 1st round asset moved already in the Atlantic Division already, with the Florida Panthers picking up Seth Jones, sending out a 1st round pick, and Spencer Knight, a former 1st round pick, right? So that's already a big move. Now we see Tampa Bay Lightning make this massive move where they're moving to 2 1st round picks for Bjorkstrand and Yanni Gourde going forward. Absolutely. By the way, do you know who's in 1st? I'm very sure it's the Tampa Bay, or it's not Tampa Bay, it's the Toronto Maple Leafs in the 1st spot. They have one game in hand on the Florida Panthers, but Toronto Maple Leafs are the ones that are leading this division. And so now a team like the Tampa Bay, or the Toronto Maple Leafs, they were looking for that 3rd line center. They were looking at Yanni Gourde as a good, cheap option, and Tampa Bay swiped it out from them. So now they may be competing against Tampa Bay Lightning in this division with the assets that they wanted, right? So this is crazy. I think I'm so excited, man. This is like a a great trade. I mean, it was weird because you had the Mikko Rantanen trade, so that was made things really active. Then you had the break with the Four Nations tournament, and then now we are back again for this, and it is just so nice. It's so good. This is very exciting. I'm so ready for this. I'm so ready for everything about this. So big fan, huge fan. Let me know what your thoughts are on this. Again, we're going to continue with the episode. We're going to hit up some NHL news. We have a new shot block leader in the NHL. From the San Jose Sharks, we have Marc-Edouard Vlasic taking over as the lead shot blocker with 2,165 shots and counting. He has just recently passed Mark Giordano as holding that position, which is very impressive. I'll be honest. I mean, you got to be like a monster to be able to do that kind of just shot blocking, because you're like you'd be able to sit like over 2,000 pucks in games. That's not talking about practice or anything either, right? So, and this guy is signed not only this year and next year. He's got 3-team trade lists. So he's honestly not going to get traded, and he makes $7 million a year. He's the most expensive player, or most expensive defenseman on the San Jose Sharks. So this guy's going to continue racking up unless he retires next year or at the end of this year or the year after. Actually, I don't think he will, but good for them, dude. That's a great piece of information. Again, a good piece of news for the San Jose Sharks. We also have an extension from the Columbus Blue Jackets. We have Mathieu Olivier gets a new contract. Let me pull that up here. He gets a new contract with the Columbus Blue Jackets. And where you at, buddy? Anyway, yeah, he gets a new contract. It's a 6-year deal, $3 million per year, which is impressive because when you're looking at a team like the Columbus Blue Jackets, and a type of player like Mathieu Olivier, who's 28 years old, it's a 6-year contract. That's crazy, especially for the bruiser that he is. But he mind you, he's a bruiser who can put up points, 21 points in 61 games, put up about 3.3 points per game. He's 6'2". He's the new tough guy in the NHL. He's taking over probably from Reeves. I can't think of his name. I can't, not Matt Reeves. Oh my goodness. Why can't I think of Ryan Reeves? Goodness gracious, Ryan Reeves. I know Matt Rempe was trying to take over that, but he's lost a lot of fights, and he doesn't put up points either, right? So Mathieu Olivier, you're getting a little bit of points, and you're getting some toughness out of him. Again, for the next 6 years as well at $3 million. So I think this he probably wanted a lot more because he was able to put up numbers and be a tough guy. And doing the 6 years ended up being more beneficial for him and the Jackets just to keep his cap hit low. So I mean that's a great little bit of business for the Columbus Blue Jackets. So we also have there is a Jesse Puljujarvi was signed. He was recently had a mutual contract elimination with the Pittsburgh Penguins. He ended up now just signed a deal with the Florida Panthers, so he's now going to be playing the Florida Panthers. The former first round pick he's the 4th pick in the first round in 2016. This year he had 9 points in 26 games. Wasn't really working out with the Pens, but again, he now gets to go play in Florida, play in the AHL. Maybe they get a good call up. I mean, it's a good little opportunity for him. He gets again another contract, so good for him. Not too mad about that at all. You have Jordan Greenway ends up signing a new contract as well. He ends up staying with the where are you at? He's staying with the Buffalo Sabres. It was talks about he was a UFA this year. There's talks about them trading him. He was only playing 26 games. He had 8 points in those 26 games. He gets a 2-year deal at $4 million, which is, to me, is very expensive for a guy like him. But mind you, you have to consider this as well, is that I would say Buffalo has some hard time keeping people. So they're overpaying for a guy. He was making $3 million a year. Now he's making $4 million a year for the next 2 years. I can only play in 26 games, a little bit crazy. Maybe there was an injury in there as well, but to me, I'm skeptical of that. That seems really high. But again, he's a big guy, so maybe they see some value in him and everything. Maybe they can flip him at some point next year or something like that. At the trade deadline next year, because they'll have that extra year and everything. So I'm a little skeptical, especially because they're giving him a 5-team no trade clause as extra. I'm like, that's kind of crazy. But again, you consider that Buffalo's not really a desirable place to go right now because of some of the toxicity that's coming out of it, right? So you have to consider that maybe they had to overpay for this guy to be able to get him to stay. And if he decided he want to stay, you're kind of like, hey, well, if you want to stay, like, cool, like, you know, it's there's an incentive to stay there if he wants it. And so good for Buffalo. Then we also have Jack Hughes has undergone shoulder surgery and is done for the season. He is placed on LTIR, but will be ready for a training camp for the New Jersey Devils. So we go to the Devils. This is a team that, I mean, you really can't replace the production that Jack Hughes brings to the team. Mind you, now you have a little bit of cap space left now, which is one of the reasons they were acting as a third party broker to get Shane Lachance. And so to me, this is like I said, this is a good little piece of business. Problem is Jack Hughes being out. Can you replace Jack Hughes? Not really. That's the hard part, is how do you trade Jack Hughes? You really can't. Like, you can't find that type of production. So does it make sense to just kind of sell off your pieces and then just like try again next year? Probably. I think that makes the most sense. Let's actually look at who they got as the UFAs again. They worked in the Trent Fender deal. You can sell off a Tomas Tatar, a Nathan Bastian, maybe Curtis Lazar. Sure, I guess. Like, you're going to re-sign Jonathan Kovacevic, and then Luke Hughes is an RFA. There's not really like any great assets to do. Maybe you can get like a third or a fourth or a fifth round pick for some of these guys, but is it worth it? Maybe not. I mean, if you look at the standings as well, they are in the third spot in the Metro, with Columbus close at their heels. They have Columbus has 2 games in hands, and they have 68 points. So and New Jersey's at 72, so they could tie the New Jersey Devils in the Metro. So that's an option just to consider. Does it make sense to them? Continue to go for it. We'll see. I think they're going to be they should be in the playoffs by the end of the year, but you got to see if it makes sense to do that. So, we have another trade. Vincent Desharnias. He gets traded to the San Jose Sharks from the Pittsburgh Penguins. And so we're looking at Desharnias. Desharnias. I always end up screwing his name up. If you look at his production so far this year, he's played 44 games with the Pittsburgh Penguins. He's only has 3 points. He's a negative 9 right now. And the Pittsburgh Penguins are not playing that well in general. But he signed a 2-year deal at $2 million per. So, so now it's interesting because the San Jose Sharks they actually traded for this guy, a 5th round pick, and they're getting back a guy who has a contract for this rest of this year and next year. San Jose does need guys, right? They already traded a Granlund. They traded out Cody Ceci. They traded out Vanacek. So they're neat guys to play for them. So now they have him for this year and next year. And we saw this with the Vanacek. They traded him for a first. Originally, it was a first round or a 5th round pick, I believe, and they traded him for a prospect. So there's opportunities where you can get these guys to play in your team. And then you're trading a small asset, a 5th round pick in 2028. That guy's not going to play for the team until like 2030 at the earliest. So again, for the Sharks, this makes sense. You get a guy to work with you, and that's not bad at all. So we have another trade. We have Michael Bunting going to the Nashville Predators for Luke Schenn and Tommy Novak, which to me is like, I'm like, why? Like, why are we doing that? So let's actually, we'll even pull it up on the, actually, we'll tease that. We're going to use it as a tease, and we'll come back with that one right after this, and after these quick short break of ads. It might not feel like it, but spring is right around the corner. You know how you can tell? Golfers are hitting the links, and we have some tournaments to talk about. And if you want to do more than just talk, put your money where your mouth is. Get in on all the tee to green action with DraftKings Sportsbook. From Thursday's opening round through the closing round Sunday, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered with tournament props, live betting, odds boost, and so much more. And if you've never bet on golf before, it's easier than you think. Just pick up something simple like a golfer to win the tourney and make your pick. It's just that easy. Now we got some tournaments coming up. We got the Puerto Rico Open, the Players Championship, the Valspar Championship, the Texas Children's Houston Open. Maybe you can bet for Stefan Jaeger to win, maybe a little Scotty Scheffler or a little Bryce Garnett, whatever it is, you can get on the action. And here's something special for first timers. New to DraftKings customers, bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit cpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boo Hill Casino and Resort. 21 plus, age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. New customers only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Okay, we are back. So we were talking about the Nashville Predators trade with Michael Bunting and the the Pittsburgh Penguins. So actually, we'll share my screen over here and we'll pull up the trade as well. Let me pull this up. And so we have the Pittsburgh Penguins sending over Michael Bunting, who is actually currently injured, by the way. And that was the wrong screen. So he's currently injured. He was playing with the Kyle Dubas traded him for him. He had 29 points, 58 games. Not too bad. Half point per game for $4.5 million. It's not great. It's not what you want. You want higher than that. You want a little bit higher production, but overall, it's not terrible. And so he's got this year and next year left on the deal. 29 years old. Famously was with the Toronto Maple Leafs for a while. So Pittsburgh Penguins or Nashville Predators get Bunting and a 4th round pick. Then the Pittsburgh Penguins acquire Luke Schenn. He's got this year and next year. He's 61 points, 5 points. He is not he's not the guy that is who you think he is. This guy is going to try and he's going to be like a huge shot blocker. He's got a great defensive defenseman. He played with the Toronto Maple Leafs last year. Victor at the deadline as well. And then Tommy Novak is a center. He's in the first year of a 3-year contract, 22 points in 52 games. Again, a little bit lower production, but he's a center, so that's something that the Pittsburgh Penguins can absolutely utilize. So Michael Bunting, I think this is a good, nice, solid contract. I think he'll be a good second line winger for them. It could also drop down to the third line and also can play with the top players as well. And then again, Schenn, there is talks about the Pittsburgh Penguins end up trading or flipping Schenn in a deal. He makes $2.75 million. I believe the Pittsburgh Penguins have quite a bit of cap space too. Let's find out the cap space. Yeah, they got $10 million in cap space, so they have plenty. Pittsburgh Penguins can retain on him for this year and next year and get a good asset back. Again, and Tommy Novak is a good little piece of business. Maybe they end up flipping him, or they honestly could just keep him. He's still young enough that he's a good enough player that they could utilize. And they get good center depth, right? You could play on the wing as well. Currently they have him playing 4th line center. I think he might even bump off Kevin Hayes for that 2nd line center. It's crazy the trades that the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Nashville Predators have been making. It's been a ton of them. Right, you're seeing like a Philip Tomasino was in Nashville, right? Tommy Novak was there, Cody Glass. Then you had again like Luke Schenn. So it's just crazy that there's so many trades with the Nashville Predators, Pittsburgh Penguins. And honestly, if I was any GM as well, I'd also be calling Barry Trotz, say, hey, what are you willing to sell? Like let's go, man, let's go. I'll take what you got, no big deal. So again, that was a good little piece of business. And I think Luke Schenn is going to get a lot of hype, a lot of things. And I think Nashville to me, it's a little bit underwhelming for Nashville. I thought they would have been able to get more for him, for all theirs. Like to me, because I'm also looking at how much cap space they have currently. Like they have $31 million in cap space. So I was like, okay, maybe because they're preparing for next year, like because next year they have it's a similar amount of cap space they have next year. So it looks like they could be going big game hunting, and they could have, retained on Schenn, but they want the cap space for next year so they can go all in. I mean, this is not the year, clearly, right? No one's having a good year overall, and so I don't fault them. But to me, I'm like, it's interesting that you're gonna let the Pittsburgh Penguins make this move, and you could have made this move. and you get Michael Bunting back, which is good. He's actually the better player than than Tommy Novak, but like he's also not a center. So I don't know. It's debatable. So let me know what your thoughts are on that as well. So I don't, it's a mid trade. I actually like it better for the Pittsburgh Penguins. I think you're going to get more value out of it because you're going to end up flipping Schenn. But let me know what your thoughts are. We have a Kerfoot extension. Again, wow. Utah is just extending so many people nowadays. They extended Kerfoot for $3 million to me, which is a little bit crazy. That seems like a lot because a lot of these guys are signing for big contracts. You had Ian Cole just signed a contract. Actually, I'll pull up the signings for the Utah Hockey Club because I feel like they just signed a bunch of people. And again, not a lot, but the cap is going up, right? Olimar is going to be making an extra $500,000 a year. Ian Cole gets an extension, a 1-year extension. He was making 3.1. He makes 2.8 next. He's 36 years old. He's a left-handed defenseman. So they get a guy that's enjoying playing over there. Alex Kerfoot, they signed him to a deal. He was making 3.5. He's now making 3. So again, he's making less. He's making it for 1 more year. So I mean, actually, they're actually doing a good cap savings, I guess. They're saving a bunch of money here and there. And you know what? Who they're saving for is Karel Vejmelka, who was making $2.7 million on a 3-year deal. He's a 28-year goalie now on a 5-year contract at $4.75 million. Love that for him. If you look at his numbers this year, he's playing phenomenally in Utah. 38 games, a 2.45 goals against average, and a 910 save percentage. That's very good, especially on a Utah team who is, they're flirting with the playoffs. They're not fully there yet. If we look at what they got, let me take myself off screen as well. I go to a full screen. So Utah is currently, they're close, right? Utah has 63 points, and the Calgary Flames are in the last wild card spot, the one that's really available, with 67 points. So there is an opportunity for them to take it over if Calgary goes on a tailspin and Utah goes on a hot streak. Mind you, they also are fighting with the St. Louis Blues and the Vancouver Canucks in that sense. So you have to consider: is it worth it? Are they going to try and go big game hunting? It sounds like Ryan Miller, the owner, does not want to go into to trade. They want to continue to work, and they want to show that this team has worked hard to get where they can get, and now are going to try and just make the push for the playoffs anyway. So good for them. I like that they're trying to push for the playoffs. So real quick, Alex, great 8 chase. Alex Ovechkin scores his 32nd goal of the year, which is stupid, by the way. It's so stupid how good this guy is. He's just been putting up monster goals, breaks his leg, comes back, and is still putting up phenomenal numbers. It's stupid. I love it, and I'm all about it. I love what the Washington Capitals are doing. I'm obsessed. In 45 games, got 31 goals, 48 points. As a 38-year-old going on 39. He's 10 goals away from beating Wayne Gretzky's record. I love that. It's huge. So, and that's all we got for today. That's all the news. It's all the big trades. I'm loving this season. It's so exciting. So stay tuned. We're doing another video tomorrow. Might be doing a live stream soon as well. Just saying. So let me know what your thoughts are. Hit like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. Again, dude, listen on Apple and Spotify. I really appreciate it. So I love you guys. See you in the next one. Bye.